Hey guys, I'm going to be getting into Leonard Cohen, who, in time, he has grown to be amongst my top 10 favorite musicians. And he actually continues a foundation that Bob Dylan, I think, started. I think Leonard Cohen is more resonating to me now because I realize those two, him and Bob Dylan particularly, have a vast difference. Bob Dylan is a very fast paced kind of guy. He's a little more of a Beatles esque operation, but Leonard Cohen operates much like how a filmmaker operates. I don't know, he's just increasingly resonating to me. And I think his perspectives on handling a lot of depressing thoughts and kind of coping with it smoothly are very resonating. And I feel like I increasingly come back, particularly just the stuff he did on songs of Leonard Cohen, songs of love and hate. Those are like life statements kind of being laid out because Leonard Cohen just sounds like the best lonely man who is successfully keeping on, basically. I really love this man. He's the ultimate, I think, Canadian perspective on America. Like you hear a lot of stuff, like Joni Mitchell as well, but here it's and Neil Young too. But I think Leonard Cohen, I think, was the birth of all this, and it's still my favorite to this day now because it's like a very pure, folksy kind of perspective on. Yeah, like the album Songs Leonard Cohen, which is this came out in 1967. It isn't like anything else that came out in 1967. All this weird stuff was happening that year, but this album was just very much. I feel like I've heard it before described as just like a paper dry as a paper bag, and I think it's the dryness of Leonard Cohen that completely resonates. Because I've recognized in time, I'm a very very dry man. So, and that's why there needs to be a sense of humor because Leonard Cohen's kind of just like feeling like or expressing like feeling like a certain death in order to reach nirvana. It feels that's what ultimately what this album kind of sounds like in a lot of ways. And Suzanne, these songs are just beautiful and so pure. So Long, Mary Ann. That's No Way to Say Goodbye. Like all these songs I've realized in time are some of the most resonating songs ever. It just sounds like the best depressed man who keeps on keeping on album of all time, basically. And that's awesome. Like, and I realize because as a lover of the mountains, I hear a lot of mountainous energy in Leonard Cohen. Maybe perhaps that's a lot of why it's so resonating. This guy's a genius. It's a lot of similar territory Nick Drake's onto. And although I play a lot of Nick Drake stuff on guitar, I think Leonard Cohen, and I don't know, I've never even sat down and learned his stuff on guitar. I like to be mystified by it even more these days. So Leonard Cohen's become one of my all-time personal favorites. Because Nick Drake's a very British outlook, and I think Leonard Cohen's become the more a relatable side. This is just a very Americana outlook on, a foreign perspective on America. And I really love that a lot of ways. That's what you're getting with this album. And this is just a genius lyrics. I mean, the entire album has genius lyrics. And it feels like it's very pure. That's what started with this album. I think a lot of genres and grunge particularly would continue this, but I think it all started right here with this album actually, where it's just like it's very pure of raw energy. Sometimes you need a break from that. This is like supposed to be like a holy place that's completely free of being a part of all that. And it just sounds like it's a person who knows how to just handle all the challenges as it comes around. I mean, you can even hear like Radiohead in this themes in this. This is happening in like the late '60s. That's pretty amazing. Leonard Cohen's just about the best poet of all time. I mean, he's one of the best poets, definitely. I've learned all these songs like like Master Song. And the saying again, Leonard Cohen took years to write all this stuff out and release it. That's really inspiring to me as a filmmaker. And that's what it is. It's just like and I think I like his way. I like that outlook better on it, where you just take your time and like kind of like let yourself evolve like a plant while you're doing it. Then you kind of figure out exactly how you want it done, and then there's a timeless legacy to it. Because this really wasn't. I don't think this was very popular at first. This took a lot of time, by word of mouth, to catch up with people. And the Stranger song is just perfect. All these songs, not every single song, is like it's just sounds very powerful the entire way through. Like it's just like it's expressing something that's overwhelmingly ethereal, and it's almost ghostly. What this album is, Winter Lady, Sisters of Mercy. I mean, these are just this is such a perfect album. Just capturing genius arrangement. And really intriguing emotion. Like it's very emotional, like listening to this album, and it's in a very subtle kind of way. In a way that it's like it's a catharsis to all of your intense emotions, and I really love that. Stories of the Street and Teachers. Like I love these songs. One of Us Cannot Be Wrong is so moving. I really love that song, and just the way that Leonard Cohen just completely lets loose in the end of it. This is a perfect album. I recommend this to everybody who feels any kind of lonely. This is like a very much the healthiest lonely perspective I maybe have ever heard. That's just what I need at this point. Just healthy lonely. That's Leonard Cohen. Because he's making art and he's happy. He's fulfilled by making art in the moment of all that. Yeah, but then the other album, yeah, is perfect. I know he has a few more he made, but and they have some amazing like songs with it. But I just want to talk about the albums that are really hitting me right now because I just can't stop listening to these. So Songs of Love and Hate, 1971. This is about the most subtle album ever made on intense emotions. That's exactly what is perfect, I think, in timeless in film. And I hear that coming through the music, just as organic as a film. And it's like you hear just ultimately a man's perspective of love and hate, light and dark, coming right through this entire album. I mean, Avalanche is just very cold-hearted dress rehearsal drag. Like there's just a lot of self-loathing that sounds very angry, but a lot of songs like Diamonds in the Mine, there's a lot of hate that's kind of going out in that song. That's probably the most aggressive moment of it. But other than that, it's a very subtle song. Like Love Calls You by Your Name. There's something really subtle and soothing about the way it all plays out. And yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, I really love this. Everything on this is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I think Avalanche is perhaps the best song he made, Leonard Cohen. It's a genius song. I absolutely love the lyrics and the atmosphere. And it just sounds like it drips of just like, yeah, literally a man's perspective of love and hate. It's really, really good. Really, really great. Um, Dress rehearsal rag. It's really disturbing. Because again, he sounds pissed, uniquely pissed. And it's like a man who's typically very chill, laid back. So it's weird to hear him this pissed off, but all the same, it's very haunting. It's evocative all the same. It's very powerful. I really love that song. It's weirder than any other Leonard Cohen song, perhaps, but it's like it's kind of interesting to hear him let out like that. Because that's the thing. I feel like he has a big time everything and nothing perspective living inside of him. You hear it in Bob Dylan as well, but I think Leonard Cohen kind of takes this to a very peaceful oasis. And it's famously Raincoat. I mean, that's a perfect song of melancholy. That's one of the most melancholic songs ever made. It's not about any Leonard Cohen song. It's like the most healthy melancholic perspective. Last Year's Man. I mean, that's perfect. Diamonds in Mine. Like all these songs, just it sounds like. And Joan of Arc's a genius masterpiece. That's a magnificent song. Just about a conversation between Joan and the fire, and it's just I absolutely love it. I love this entire album. It's one of the best albums ever made. Like this made my top 20. Every song on this album is a masterpiece, and I love on the album cover how much he looks like Jack Nicholson of all people. And stuff later is worth checking out too. I mean, the song "Who by Fire" is one of the best masterpieces, but other than that, it's really just those two albums that get me. But that's what I'm saying. He's a minimalist too. I think that's what Leonard Cohen is doing. That's different. He's the ultimate. I think he's one of the first true minimalists of music. That's what makes him so different from Bob Dylan. And of course, I know the album he made in 2016. You Want It Darker. That one was pretty great too. I heard "I'm Your Man" 1988. And I feel like I have some fond memories of the song everybody knows, but everything else I'm not too crazy about in the 80s. "You Want It Darker" is pretty interesting era. Pretty crazy album. I need to listen to all of it outside of the self-title. That's Leonard Cohen. That man is a unique genius. I recommend him to everybody.